Oh, Calvin, when will you learn? Whoa! Didn't see you there, good buddies. Chief's just reading some Calvin and Hobbes, catching up on some good times. Listen, we've got a sketchbook special for you today, so how about we do a show? Hey, it's me, your host, the Chief. I'm back with another episode of ArmaGEEKdon. This time we got a sketchbook special. Excuse the slight lag you're probably seeing. I'm stuck up in the loft. No Ethernet cable to run up here because my expensive laptop does not have an Ethernet port. I am going to get a USB to Ethernet adapter though, so hopefully these problems will be solved for the future. Listen, let's get on with the show. I've got a guest coming on to talk about some of this art that I have collected. But first, I did spin the wheel, and let's see what convention it ended up being. Okay, here it is, people. It's the W.O.M.A, the Wheel of Magical Art. It's the conventions, it's the comic book shop signings, it's the commissions everywhere where he's acquired a piece of art. Let's press the button, see where she's going to land. What we're discussing today, it is London Film and Comic Con, or is it tipping over into Thought Bubble? It's gone over into Thought Bubble 2015. Let's see what we got in the folder. That's right. We're going to be talking about Thought Bubble 2015 and the art I got there. But first, let's find out who's going to be talking about this art with me.
Hello.
Hey, guest in the studio. It's Nic Sloth Comics. Is your baby?
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about Sloth Comics and your love of art, I guess.
Simple. I always wanted to work in comics, and very young realized, I should like this. The thing I wanted to do was make more than just my own stuff, help people get more comics out there. So decided to start my own publishing company. So I went to study specifically in Aberdeen. That's how I ended up in the UK. Studied publishing. And then design as a fallback, just in case things didn't work out. It turns out it's very handy.
Is that an easy kind of route to go down, or industry to get into? Or I go to a lot of conventions, I guess, as you do as well, and there's lots of small press independent publishers there. But how was the journey? Was it tough work to get there?
It's slow and hard work. Like, I think like starting any business, you're led by passion and love more than anything else, because you'll never be, I'm fine with never being rich. I'm just happy I can work something I love, and if I manage to make a living around on the way, and maybe help have a few fun times and get people's work out there, it's great.
Yeah.
Also, decided to, use my other talents. I'm French originally.
Okay.
From Paris, and half the stuff I get is actually French translations, which I translate and reletter and redesign myself for the UK. So that helps, kind of fill it, because doing that's faster than doing a comic from scratch.
Of course,
it helps fill the gaps.
And so some of that material that you're saying are the original French source material. You would have maybe been familiar with that already from your time in France, or I don't know, you've worked with some, or you've helped to publish some pretty big names over in the UK as well.
I guess my crowning achievement in a way is I managed to publish Mobius.
Yeah, wow.
So that was sweet. That's sadly, actually, at Thought Bubble, I remember having people going, "Who the hell is Mobius?"
Oh, really?
And being next to, I think I was opposite Mike Collins and a few other names, and they overheard that and they all just went, "Oh no."
Well, I think what people need to understand is, I guess, most people that come to conventions, or the vast majority of people that are into comics, are mainly into Marvel and DC and superhero stuff, which is fine. That's cool. I collected that in my prime collecting years, and I still do, to an extent, get the odd superhero work here and there. I kind of shifted more into non-superhero stuff, but I do still enjoy that superhero stuff. And it's only when you've started and been collecting for a while and you start going down rabbit holes of other creators and other language publications and other art houses and things that you do get an appreciation for these other artists. So it's a big field out there, and there's stuff that's going to please everyone, I think.
Definitely. Like same as you. I mainly read my favorite stuff's indie stuff.
Okay.
But like you say, I'm still a fan of caped heroes. Like I've got quite a few Batmans, huge fan of Spawn.
Okay.
Like since I was a teen, really like Image stuff, but and Howard the Duck. Like
Howard the Duck. Okay.
Every single Howard the Duck.
Okay, I don't think I've ever. Steve Gerber, correct? Is that synonymous with? I don't think I've ever read a Howard the Duck comic. Shame on me.
It is so much fun. It is so much fun. It is not something you might expect Marvel to do in a way. It's very funny. The Max one is kind of off the wall. And
that was recent, was it? Maybe 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier than that, maybe, yeah. I was getting some of that Max stuff when they relaunched the Black Panther and Daredevil and things like that. So I don't know why Howard's bypassed me, but okay, it's on the checklist. I'll put it down. Listen, that's cool. We're going to put links to all Nic's stuff down below so you can check out all of his fine work. Please go and do that. But let's take a look at some of the stuff that I got at Thought Bubble. Okay, so if I need to switch screens here, I need to do something else. I need to share. I'm not set up at all. And the first one, let's have a look. What should we go for first? Let's go for this one here.
I'm excited. Ooh.
Okay, so this is
that's Lorenzo.
There you go. He knew it before I even put the image.
I have all the books right under my desk because when I draw, the How to Think When You Draw is kind of my go-to. I'm not sure how to do a really nice, alive like animal mouse or something, or a good beard, or boom. How to like.
Yeah. And
they're also a fan of French comics. I've met them a few times. They've bought quite a few of my comics, so I'm that one. And this, well, also it's signed in the corner. That's an amazing sketch.
Yeah, so this was, maybe a year before or this year. No, it might have been this year, actually. It was the first year I discovered their work. And they were doing quick sketches if you bought a book from them. And if you bought one of their deluxe, this was before the How to Think When You Draw. Those deluxe kind of load of pages sketchbooks that Lorenzo had, the thick ones. And if you bought one of those, which are about 25 quid, he would give you an A4. He had like 5 or 6 pre-done images, and you get a sketch from him. So I chose this one, and the guy he was just drawing. When he was doing the quick sketches, he just draws super quick, no reference, just everything from the top of his head. And, the level of detail is fairly insane for the kind of work he does.
I'm thoroughly jealous. I think is amazing in his work is also just how alive and vivid everything is. Like all the animals are just, none of them stiff. Nothing, from something just done like that, it's all very dynamic, even if they're not moving. It's awesome. Yeah.
Different expressions, different movement from them all. It's, really nice. And it kind of tells a story, doesn't it? You've got these critters who are building some kind of mechanical construct, for what ends, I don't know. Fill in the story yourself. It's,
both of them, both of the Etherington brothers are great guys. Like their books are amazing. So I can't remember his brother's name. He writes, Robin writes, and Lorenzo draws them.
Yeah, that's it. So I've actually got maybe 3 or 4 of these pieces because I just went back and I was like, well, I want another piece of art from him, and not from this convention, and I'll get another sketchbook. And so I bought another one and got another piece of art. So on future episodes, hopefully I'll be showcasing some more of his fine work. But I mean, I think they've got the highest ever rated comic ever on Kickstarter with the How to Think When You Draw. And also people check out his Stransky book, which is a lovely art piece with some 3D glasses as well that came with that. It's really, really great work. But excellent. There's the first one there, Lorenzo Etherington. And great guys to talk to, like you said. I've never met more kind of passionate, friendly, enthusiastic people in the comic book industry. And Nic, you're on the inside. I am purely 100% an outsider. I am just a punter and a fan. So from a fan's perspective,
like I'm also a fan, but I've met them. Like actually, Robin came to see me, and oh my god, I remember reading these comics when I lived in France.
Okay,
and we did a swap. I think it was actually I want to say the Lakes Festival.
Okay,
but I've always kind of loved her, but that was the first time. Sometimes when you're behind the table, you can't always go and see everyone you want.
Yeah, that's it.
The further they are from your table, the more planning gets.
And it's also knowing where they are, because some of these conventions are so big. It's actually finding out where they are. Okay, fine. Let's see what we got next on the table. I'm going to go for something a bit different here. Let's go for this one. Okay. So this is a guy called Keith Burns. With his P-47 Thunderbolt. Now, Keith, in terms of sequential stuff, he'd done some work on The Boys with Garth Ennis when I think John McCrea needed a little break, or he'd done a miniseries or something. So Keith stepped up and did some issues there. And he's done some other stuff either for one of the Dark Horse or another smaller publisher, smaller mainstream publisher.
Huge fan of The Boys. Have them all.
Right. Okay, there you go. But he kind of segued into his first love, which was aviation and military paintings. And I had seen, what I used to do is before I went to the convention, I would get a list of all the people that were going to be at the convention and then kind of just Google all their names if I didn't know them, just to kind of see what work they had done. And I came across Keith's website and I was like, oh, he's done some really nice stuff here. So I think this wasn't the first one. I think the first one I got was a Mitsubishi Zero from him at a nice, I think it was Nice Festival in Bedford the year before, or maybe even this year, 2015. And then I decided, okay, cool, let's just get some more. So I got a collection of like 4 or 5 different aircraft from Keith. And I used to make Airfix model kits as a kid. And I've made one of these, so I thought, yeah, cool, let's get a P-47. But he even put on the front of the fuselage there a little chief for me, which was nice. But again, nice to see different art styles. We saw that kind of cartoony, clean brush style from Lorenzo, and now you're getting the more of the kind of I guess painted brushstroke wash style here. Even the bullet casings coming off, just really, really nice piece. That
you don't get many like war comics anymore because they don't sell very well.
No,
and in the UK, they don't sell very well. You get I have quite a few in France. Quite a few have won like a lot of awards and win some every year.
Okay.
But I know like Garth Ennis tends to have to do like something popular, but he loves spreading war comics. So war comic, something like mainstream war comic, and he leverages one to be able to do the other.
Yeah. I think he's done a lot of the war stuff for Dynamite as well, hasn't he? So, and then he actually did a series called a reboot of Johnny Red with Keith Burns for who published that one? I can't think who published that one. That's annoying me now. But there was a recent 8-issue miniseries from like five years ago. But yeah, I think they've definitely got their place, military war comics in, my first love outside of 2000 AD, which will never be eclipsed as my favorite. G.I. Joe, the Larry Hama run, will probably be my second favorite comic. And I guess that's one way of doing, air quotes, war comics with a somewhat of not a superhero vibe, but a non-realistic vibe. But then you've got the things like Garth does, and even the Commando comics that you can still get in W.H. Smith's, still got a place. They must sell some, otherwise they wouldn't keep selling them.
No, they definitely do. They're really hard to convince someone to publish them. Well, I'm not. That's not at all what I do, so I don't really
No.
know that much about it.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Let's see what we got next. Let's go to let's have this one. So this is okay. This is just a random henchman from a guy called Robert Diaz, and I didn't know who he was. I basically just, again, like I said, I was just going through the Google, and he did a book called Troy Trailblazer for the Phoenix comic.
Yeah.
And Phoenix, for those that don't know, I've not actually read it, but it's a like a kids publication. I don't know if it's fortnightly or monthly, but it's like an anthology of different stories from different creators. It's won loads of awards, and
Yeah.
I had a look at his work, and it looked really cool. And so he was just at the table, no queue, and I came up and said, "I've looked at your work; it looks really nice. Can you do me a sketch?" And he just did me a free sketch of a random henchman from Troy Trailblazer, which is a story about a kid on like an intergalactic quest. But this was like a 5-minute quick sketch, which was nice.
Yeah, the Phoenix is a magazine which is weirdly like only available through subscription,
Right.
in, I believe, Marks and Spencer's.
Okay,
which
wow.
is a weird thing to do, but so I know quite a lot of colleagues who've worked for it.
Yeah, well, the Etherington brothers did work, and I've got a few of their books. I think Monkey Nuts or another couple that they had published through there. But
when they I just don't get the magazine, because when they release their books, they're so nice. It's kind of like 2000 AD. I rarely get the magazine because the collected editions are just way nicer.
That's it. But I mean, this is a good book, so I'll put links to all the creators that we're looking at today. I'll put links to their main websites down below. But if you're in the market for a kid's sci-fi book, pick up Troy Trailblazer and the Horde Queen.
That looks great. That cover is great.
Great cover. There's a bit of some of the characters involved. Nice clean art style from Robert here. Colors are popping on the cover book, but nice to free sketches of random henchmen rather than getting Spider-Man and Batman every time. Nice to get a random henchman. Okay, let's see what we got left.
I'm quite a fan of getting whatever they want, like something, if I don't know, just something from their creation, whatever. Sloth. I've got a lot of sloths.
Okay, that's cool. Right, I've got 2 left, and then we've got a sneak peek of something for another show. So let's do this one.
Oh, huge Judge Dredd fan.
Why is that? Okay. There we go. So I didn't pop up the banner for the last one. So this is Wes Craig doing a Judge Dredd. Wes has done a few bits for Marvel. He did some of the cosmic stuff with Dan Abnett towards the end of his run, and then he did like a weird sized hardback that he published through a small publisher, which I can't remember, Black Hand something, but more famously, commonly known known for Deadly Class with Rick Remender, which he's penciled and drew sort of 40 plus issues for, that series set in the 80s of a school full of assassins. But I'm a big 2000 AD Judge Dredd fan. He too, and this is a scenario where he was at Thought Bubble as a special guest. He was opening up a pre-convention commission list which you could get on, and I like to, in that scenario, I like to give the artists like 5 choices. So I emailed him and said, love to get on your list. Here's 5 characters, and there were a real wide berth of range of, there might have been a Cable, and then a Judge Dredd, and then someone from Deadly Class. So a real gamut of choice for him, and he actually opted for the Judge Dredd piece, and it turned out pretty special.
Yeah, I love getting Judge Dredd sketches as well, and have quite a few. I'm also lucky enough to have a couple Colin McNeil original pages.
Oh wow, that's nice. But yeah, this is I could see this as being an image from a Dredd book. He takes no prisoners with anyone. So even if you're even if you're an octogenarian and you're just
Yeah.
out for a stroll, he's going to do a crime blitz and search you.
He's probably like one of my favorite kind of British comic characters.
Yeah.
Love 2000 AD in general because it's different from what I'd get in France. It's different from like Marvel and DC.
Yes.
And it's just for me like the British comic in a great way. Well, at least the one that resonates with me.
Yeah, and I say this, pretty much every time I got a chance to talk about it, so I'm going to bore people that have heard it before, but I am constantly amazed at the ability to publish a weekly comic since 1977 with only a couple of weeks off when the printing presses went to boycott or picket or something for in 30 years ago. But aside from that, the ability to publish an anthology comic weekly in color still astounds me in this day and age, when my little from American comics, obviously monthly as standard, and kind of always been that way. Marvel occasionally or DC will go bi-weekly or something for an event, but by and large monthly. And I know from my small knowledge of kind of French books, a lot of them are
yearly,
just published with yearly or 6 months. I get quite a lot of the Cine books.
Oh yeah, that's mainly old classics reprinted.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm getting Orbital and some other stuff, and it's like you say, I get one volume of a 48-page or a 68-page book, and then the wait time of up to a year for the next one is excruciating. But the material's so good you don't mind waiting. But very different publication schedules, all around the world, I guess.
It's also like, I mean, the format's very different. They're always hardback. They're always in the thing. And as opposed, like, they also, a lot of them are like fully painted, or so it's different production, different wait times. Then there's people who, like, one of my favorite writers, well, actually, it's two people who go under one pseudonym.
Okay.
And they get different artists, so they manage to do like 4 a year, and I have a hard time keeping up because they're quite expensive. So I'm like, at least like keep getting later and later. They went, we're doing a different standalone story every time, and different artist every time. It's like, okay, well, thank you for making me bankrupt.
Yeah, so this was a great one. Wes said he really enjoyed doing it. Love to see him on a dread strip. That'd be brilliant. Get him and John Wagner on a dread strip. I'll buy that all day long. Great spotted blacks here as well. Great use of color on this one.
Yeah,
like really encapsulated it well.
Great negative space, and it's just brilliant. I love like the black and white stuff for that.
Yeah. Okay, we've got one more main one that I got at Thought Bubble. So let's see what that one is. This is part of a series of pieces, not the first. Let's see where it is. Here it is.
Oh, okay. I know. That's Roger Langridge.
That's Roger Langridge, maestro extraordinaire with the villains lineup. So this started off as a I mean, I discovered Roger quite late on. I'm a big Muppets fan, and when he was doing the Muppets book at Boom Studios, I kind of hoovered up all the back issues as much as I could. I actually ended up getting a full run, and I've actually had them all custom bound into one hardcover.
Nice.
And then obviously later on, I think Marvel got the rights, and then they published a omnibus of that. But he also had done loads, he's just a supreme cartoonist. He loves the old timey kind of newspaper strip style. And he's done a lot of self-publishing his own books, and one of his characters is a character called Fred the Clown. And if you see Roger at a convention, or you can get it from his website, please pick up that I think it's 4 issues he's got of Fred the Clown. It's just fantastic strip based humor. And he's kind of he's a lovable, I don't want to say lunatic, but he's kind of like a even dumbed down Homer Simpson kind of character.
He is amazing. He's drawn me a sloth. You can go and see it on the website, actually.
Cool.
It's got like a cigar and it's sitting on a chair. Every year at Thought Bubble I get something from him.
Yeah, same. Every convention I ever see him at, I get something from. I think I've probably got more language pieces than anyone else. Maybe, you know, 12, 15 pieces. And the idea for this one was I wanted to start doing, I'd started doing police lineup pieces, which I think I covered on episode 1 of the Sketchbook Special, where they were more A3 pieces. This is an A4, but A3 pieces of characters who are in a police style lineup. And for this one, I had Fred the Clown, not for this particular piece, but the first in this series. Fred the Clown had wandered in, or he'd got roped into a police lineup with, you know, classic Marvel, DC, comic, cartoon, film villains. And he's in a lineup with all these degenerates, and he's clearly not meant to be there. And then I decided after getting that first one, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get more and I'll just add them on. So in the end, it's going to be a big, long kind of panel sketch, which I'll end up getting framed. But this was piece number 3, I think, in the series. And I basically said I'd like a Marvel villain, a DC villain, you know, etc., a film villain, and this is what he came up with. But the guy is just incredible.
I've got a few original pages from him, mainly from his own stuff.
Okay.
I know I love Knuckles the Nun. Yes, it reminds me a lot of like Fluide Glacial French comics. And I have an original page from Billy Woodtop and Magwap the Great, which is another one of his like strips for like who do cabaret style show presenters.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all. I mean, he also did a really successful run of Popeye, who had like huge acclaim. He's just all around.
Another book to get is Snarked. I think that was. I think that was Boom. Was that Boom Studios?
It was Boom. I think it was Boom. I mean, I have them all. It's the Walrus and the Carpenter story pre Alice.
Yeah. And then I just picked up last month Zoot, which is one of his self-published books. But the guy's amazing. I mean, look at that Joker. That is, for me, almost a definitive Joker. The use of the whites is so stark. The white.
For me, it's the Dastardly that really sticks out. I love
that one.
I love Hanna-Barbera, and he does them so well. I mean, they're all really great. That
look at even Dastardly's jacket, which has, you know, different shadings of blue, utilizing almost the same pencil or a bit of white as well, but just this kind of pastel-y.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought Roger Language up, because I like big fan, have so much of his things. I don't know if you can still get it, but there was a compilation by Boom called "The Show Must Go On."
Yep, got that.
That's a lot of his in like compilation of his own characters. And they're just fantastic.
I've got another one, which is a Jim Henson. It's a language interpretation. What's it called? It's a hardback. It's like an oversized hardback. I can't even think what it is. But basically, you've kickstarted. I'm going to read some more language this week, and I'm also going to read some Howard the Duck. So add that to the list. But we'll see some more of these language Fred the Clown lineup pieces on another show, and then I've also got, he's done loads of Muppet interpretations. He did a Muppets 2000 AD mashup, character mashup one for me. I've got some Fred the Clown stuff, and got plenty from him. But then so. This was in my phase, Thought Bubble 2015, of massively overspending. Or I think I was probably coming to the end of overspending.
Sounds easy.
And I decided, what's a good way to still get sketches, but from multiple artists, but not overspend? So I came across, having done this lineup piece, I thought, well, I still like this idea, but how can I simplify it a little bit? And I thought, well, how about getting mugshots, like police mugshots, you know, holding up the nameplate, and then if I get an A3 page and divide it into 3x3 grid, I've got 9 effective sketch cards, and then I can get almost like a jam piece. I can get each artist just to do one grid. That's going to reduce the cost. Some were very kind and were doing them for free. I think the most I paid for one was maybe £20. That was actually a Stan Sakai Usagi Yojimbo, but more on that one later. But I will. I'm going to do a special sketchbook ep where I cover the mugshot pieces, but this is the convention where I first started the idea. So we'll get a sneak preview of what's to come on a future episode. And I started with a Star Wars mugshot piece, and
Yoda.
So yeah, that's a Dean Beatty Yoda, and it was basically, this is the heroes. Draw any hero. There's a Lorenzo Etherington C-3PO actually, and in fact, Lorenzo is the only artist who appears on every single one of my mugshot. I think I've got eight different mugshot pieces. He's the only artist who appears on all 8 of them. Otherwise, I try and get different artists each time. But yeah, so here, 9 heroes. I think so. Martin Simmons Han, which is pretty fantastic. But yeah, so that's where the mugshot started at Thought Bubble 2015. But I'll go into that particular piece and others in more detail. That was just a sneak preview, if you will, of what's to come on future episodes. But there you go. That was my roundup of my art I collected at Thought Bubble 2015. It was a pretty good haul, I think, overall.
Yeah, that's pretty good haul. So yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, thanks. You were probably there as an exhibitor.
I was definitely there. I definitely was there, and I also definitely got a Roger Langridge piece. I believe he was in the same hall as me at the end of my row, or around the corner from it. So yeah, no, I think that might be the one where I got the first snarked. Like, I've got all my snarked from him. One a year at Thought Bubble, where he sketched them all, so I'll have a sketch in all of them. I've got the Zoot ones as well, because I think there's at least 2 now, by the way.
Zoot, I think I picked up the Iron Duchess, and then I think I picked up 3 Zoots or 2.
I don't know if there's. I remember.
Maybe it's only
I know
2
there's
then.
at least 2. I know there's at least 2. Might be 3 now. And Knuckles the Nun is the only one. That one really, really reminds me of French comics, like of Friedrich. There was an actual French comic based on a nun. It didn't look like Knuckles, but she was a drunk, promiscuous, would shag the gardener and all that, which was published in Friedrich. And it's just funny to see a similar kind of character from, actually, I don't know when he created it. Maybe he's Australian or from New Zealand. I can't remember.
I want to say New Zealand.
He lives in the UK now, but
he does. Yes, yeah. I think it's New Zealand. I subscribe to his Patreon. It's like I think I subscribe at the $2 a month tier, and basically it's just to support him, but also he puts out daily strips. And you get them like a week in advance if you subscribe to his Patreon. But yeah, he posts them all up on Twitter, free daily strips.
I'm so glad you put one of those up, because I'm just a huge fan, and I discovered him randomly. I think I was in the States, saw his show must go on, and I was like, what is this marvelous book? I must have it. And he's at Thought Bubble every year, and from then started going to get all his stuff, getting original pages. He sells his original pages as a steal if you want his own stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
He really does. You can get from £30 up. Even I was seeing splash pages at £50, and it's like, wow, you got to get some of those. So that's next on my list, to get some language pages.
I basically end up spending more on framing than the actual artwork, which kind of kills me a little inside. I still have 3 James Sticco stuff I need to get framed.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, they need to be up. Listen, great episode. Thanks so much to Nic for coming on. Links to all his stuff. He's on Twitch. We'll put links to his websites and everything down below. So please go and check out his fine work. Support the man. But yeah, thanks for watching another episode of ArmaGEEKdon. We've got another sketchbook episode coming up for you very soon. So until next time, make sure you keep it geek.